Madam Speaker, I rise to provide an update on the 51st annual meeting of the Asian Development Bank, or ADB, that was held in Manila, Philippines from the 3rd to the 6th of May this year. As part of the Fijian delegation, Madam Speaker, we were accompanied by the Governor of the Reserve Bank of Fiji, Permanent Secretary of Economy, and other senior officials from the Ministry of Economy, RBF, and the Office of the Solicitor General. Madam Speaker, we also had a team led by the Permanent Secretary for Civil Service, together with senior officials from the Fiji Police Force and Ministry of Civil Service to understudy the logistical and security arrangements at the event, as Fiji will be hosting the 52nd annual meeting of the ADB in May next year, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this will be a very historic event, as it will be the first time for any Pacific developing member country to host the ADB annual meeting. The larger neighbours within the region, Australia and New Zealand, hosted the annual meetings respectively in 1969 and 1995, Madam Speaker. However, apart from the fact that no ADB annual meeting has been held in those two countries for the last 23 years, and none has ever been held in any of the Pacific Island countries. So Fiji, of course, is very fortunate through its efforts and also the hard work that has been carried out to be actually chosen, and indeed a sign of confidence has been shown in the Fijian government and also the country, of course, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, again, of course, it speaks about the confidence that the multilateral agencies have in our ability to host such an event. This will be the largest event that Fiji has ever hosted, with an anticipated at least 4,000 participants, including government delegates, ADB personnel, guests, spouses, observers, civil society organizations, media, and other accompanying persons, Madam Speaker. In fact, Madam Speaker, we are informed that it could actually exceed 4,000, because many people like the idea of coming to Fiji, so they're bringing their spouses and perhaps family members too. And Madam Speaker, we've earlier in May, Madam Speaker, of course, it will be in early May next year, which is around the 3rd to the 5th. It's one of the low periods in our tourism sectors. It fits in well, as more rooms will be available, and of course, there will be more business and more, employment opportunities for our staff that work in this tourism sector, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we've already started preparations towards this, and we are fully confident of delivering above expectations and making this a unique experience for all the participants. It will also be an opportunity, Madam Speaker, for us to be able to showcase our Fijian hospitality, of course our culture, our unique culture, development achievements, unique challenges and opportunities in the Pacific. So, Madam Speaker, what we have said to the other Pacific Island countries, that while Fiji will be physically hosting the meeting, we want to see it more as a Pacific event. To be able to then also, as far as some of the subject areas are concerned, to be able to hone in as to what are some of the funding requirements of the Pacific Island countries and what we can do in respect of climate vulnerability initiatives. We've asked our fellow ministers from the other Pacific Islands for agenda items that they want to highlight, and we'll be working with the team with the ADB to be able to ensure, in particular, provide a focus on climate change, Madam Speaker. The successful hosting of this meeting, Madam Speaker, will lay the platform for other large multilateral meetings of a similar nature, and henceforth develop Fiji's ability to compete in the what they call the MICE market, which is the meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions market, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, it was quite interesting to see the Fijian police force, some of the senior members that actually went down and worked behind the scenes with the Philippines police force and the military and the traffic police, etc., and how they actually ran the entire show. Madam Speaker, alongside the ADB meetings in Manila, the Fijian government also hosted what we call a special future host country event for the unveiling of the official logo and theme of next year's ADB general meeting, which is Prosperity Through Unity. Madam Speaker, this event was attended by a gymnasium full of participants enjoying Fijian meke, and I'd like to publicly thank the 4 university students, Fijian students who are studying in Japan. We actually flew them over from Japan and did a fantastic job, and some of the staff came from our Japanese embassy, our embassy in Japan. And we not only had the meke, we had Fijian foods and the Bulla spirit in Manila. The participants expressed overwhelming support and excitement towards Fiji hosting the annual event. In fact, the ADB Vice President, Stephen Groff, acknowledged and said this was the most attended future host country event ever at the ADB. The whole place was chock-a-block, it was full. This event, Madam Speaker, actually provided a great opportunity for us to showcase what Fiji would offer next year. We had a short video that is specifically made for this particular event, and it's available on YouTube too, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in Manila, the Fijian delegation attended a number of official engagements with the ADB Board of Governors, ADB management, and also had a number of bilateral meetings. The annual gathering provided a valuable opportunity for member countries to discuss key global and regional issues, development challenges and opportunities. It also provided an avenue for discussion of financing options that suit the development priorities and economical financial needs of member countries. Madam Speaker, as we normally do, the 14 Pacific Development Member Countries, or PDMCs, which include Cook Islands, Federated States of Micronesia, Fiji, Kiribati, Republic of Marshall Islands, Nauru, Papua New Guinea, Republic of Palau, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Timor-Leste, Tonga, Tuvalu, and Vanuatu, held the 28th PDMC meeting, which was chaired by the Governor of the Republic of Kiribati. In the ADB language, the minister, or whoever is the delegated representative of the country, is called the Governor, which is not to be confused with the Governor of the Central Bank. Madam Speaker, all the members congratulate Fiji for hosting this, the 52nd ADB annual meeting next year. The PDMCs also later met with the ADB President and management to discuss common issues facing the member countries and highlighted the following. Madam Speaker, whilst appreciating the decision to start a discussion on the increase of base allocation for ADB-specific DMCs, a request was also made to further increase minimum allocations consistent with other multilateral development partners like the World Bank. This would benefit our smallest and most vulnerable member countries that access ADB fund, or ADF. The Asian Development Fund grant funding, Madam Speaker, which is something that Fiji actually does not qualify for. Fiji is a borrower under the Ordinary Capital Resources, or which is OCR, as we are deemed to be a middle-income country, have middle-income country status. In this regard, Madam Speaker, as raised by Fiji in many other international fora, the PDMC's governors reiterated the need for ADB to look at what we call trigger-based mechanisms, where countries can access concessional grant financing in the event of adverse climatic events, which is part of its strategy of 2030. As highlighted, Madam Speaker, earlier on in Parliament, that when we have such an event like TC Cyclone Winston, Fiji still, despite the fact that 1/3 of the value of our GDP is wiped off, we still cannot get concessional funding because we're deemed to be a middle-income country. What we've been pushing for the past 2 or 3 years, and it appears to be getting some traction now, is that even though we do not want the concessional funding, which we know that we're not entitled to, but what we are saying we should be entitled to concessional funding, should there be certain trigger-based mechanisms. So if you, for example, have a cyclone that is very large and damages your GDP up to a certain value or in excess of a percentage of the value, then you should be able to access concessional funding. Otherwise, you can have 40, 50 years of your development wiped off in one single climatic event. Embedding vulnerability and fragility, Madam Speaker, in the multilateral development finance is essential for climate adaptation, prudent fiscal management and meeting sustainable development goals. Furthermore, Madam Speaker, given that ADB has the expertise and knowledge base in the area of public-private partnerships, the PDMC requested if ADB could provide the necessary support and advice to roll out capital projects through PPPs. This will not only assist to spread out the overall risk, but it will also ease the upfront capital requirement from the public purse. In addition, Madam Speaker, the private sector can also bring in the much-needed innovation and expertise related to public sector investments. This approach can also be used to enhance private sector participation in climate change adaptation financing initiatives. Madam Speaker, we also had the opportunity to be again one of the panelists for the Governor's Seminar on Technological Change, Globalization and Jobs in Asia. In the ADB speak again, when they mention Asia, it includes Pacific too. It is hosted and led by the famous BBC moderator Zainab Badawi. The panel consisted of Mr. Takeo Nakao, the ADB President and Chairperson of the Board of Directors, the Honorable Taro Aso, the Deputy Prime Minister and the Governor for Japan, the Honorable Mulyani Indrawati, the Governor and Minister for Finance for Indonesia, the Philippines Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez, which is equivalent of a ministerial position, and as I was representing Fiji as the Governor for Fiji and representing the small island states. Mr. Speaker, this seminar gave Fiji the opportunity to express its views on technological advancement and the threats and the opportunities it brings for smaller developing member countries. While advanced countries are thinking about new technologies such as robotics and artificial intelligence, countries like Fiji and other developing countries are still catching up with technological advancement. We recognize, Madam Speaker, the opportunities that new technology presents to raise productivity, prosperity and inclusive development. But we are also mindful of the need to skill and reskill our people for them to be able to cope with the changing environment. But of course, Madam Speaker, while technology can replace manpower or human power, it cannot replace the warmth of people-to-people interaction or the human touch, which is very important for tourism and hospitality sector, which is actually our strength and indeed our largest foreign exchange earner. Madam Speaker, the ADB President highlighted that countries need to maintain flexible policies, support improvements to education and put in place a stronger social safety net in order to be well positioned to take advantage of the changes that new technologies may bring to the region. And again, in this respect, Madam Speaker, the PPP that we are engaging in, we have a long-term strategic goal, which means by having full tertiary medical care facilities available in the Western Division in particular, we are able to open ourselves up for retirement villages. And indeed, we did discuss about the aging population in countries like Australia and Japan, where many of them are looking for opportunities in other countries that has modern-day facilities, including medical care, full medical care, which Fiji can actually take advantage of. And already, our people are very good at looking after children and the elderly. Madam Speaker, this interaction and the panel discussion is also available on the ADB website. Madam Speaker, we also had a number of bilateral meetings to strengthen Fiji's collaboration with other countries. We held meetings with Japanese International Cooperation Agency, or JICA, the Senior Vice President. We also met with the ADB President, bilateral meeting. We met with the Australian Minister, Conchetta Wells, who is responsible for the Pacific, the ADB Executive Director for Fiji's constituency, the ADB Director General to the Pacific Regional Department. We met the Canadian delegation in respect of some of the bilateral work we're going to do with them, and announcements of that will be made later on. We also met with the representatives of the Nordic countries and the European Investment Bank, and they had actually had some good news for us in respect of their willingness to fund some of the major infrastructure development projects that we hope to announce in the budget. And again, as the Honourable Prime Minister is currently also having meetings on. Many of the bilateral meetings were focused on ongoing bilateral relations and opportunities for further cooperation with our development partners. Madam Speaker, further discussion was also held in Fiji's preparations towards the hosting of the ADB annual meeting. Madam Speaker, we also talked about the Nandi River widening project. Again, that's a very big project for us, and again, we are lining up the finances for that. So the technical aspects are currently being discussed, and in fact, the Honourable Prime Minister is leading the charge for that in Japan as we speak, Madam Speaker. We again, as highlighted in Parliament earlier on, we are working together with the ADB and various other agencies in respect of developing and designing insurance products, financial instruments for better climate adaptation, risk sharing, and also, Madam Speaker, as announced earlier on too, we're looking at national health insurance scheme, which we're currently working on, and indeed we have an expert coming down in about a week and 2 weeks' time to Fiji for us to be able to formulate something around that. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, ADB remains a genuine development partner for Fiji and has assisted us through various technical assistance programs and by financing a number of infrastructure projects. There is a greater responsibility on the Fijian government and all Fijians, as the expectations for the 52nd annual meetings are quite high. Madam Speaker, we are confident that Fiji will take this responsibility with enthusiasm and use this as an opportunity to showcase the determination and ability of Fiji to host such large events. It will be also a great opportunity for our young people because we will require numerous volunteers and others to actually host and show our guests, in fact, at the meeting venues itself. And of course, Madam Speaker, we believe by hosting this event, we will already be putting ourselves into the international market and be hugely beneficial for Fiji. I'd like to also, before I finish, this is the official logo that was actually launched in Manila. It's been chosen as the logo for the 52nd ADB annual meeting. I can give you all the copies of that, and we've had some local designers who put that together for us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.